The rain had soaked Daniel Harper to the bone by the time he reached the small bus stop outside his apartment. His shoulders ached, his wallet was nearly empty, and his mind was heavy with the familiar worry of how he'd make it through another week as a single father. Just as he turned to leave, he noticed her. She was small, no older than 12, wrapped in a torn hoodie far too thin for the cold. Her hair was tangled, her shoes soaked, and she clutched a paper bag like it was the only thing keeping her steady. She didn't beg out loud. She didn't cry. She just looked at him with tired eyes that had seen too much. "Sir?" she whispered, barely audible over the rain. "Do you know where I can stay tonight?" Daniel hesitated. He had a 7-year-old son waiting at home. He had rules. He had fear. But something in her voice, quiet, dignified, and broken, stopped him cold. He bought her a hot meal from the corner diner. She ate slowly, politely, thanking him after every bite. When he offered her a spare blanket and the couch for the night, she froze, then nodded, tears silently slipping down her cheeks. At home, his son Lucas offered her his favorite stuffed bear without hesitation. "You can borrow him," he said softly. The girl smiled for the first time. Her name was Lily. She said she'd been lost for a long time. That night, as Daniel watched her sleep peacefully on the couch, he had no idea that within hours, his simple act of kindness would shake his quiet life, and connect him to a truth far bigger than he could ever imagine. Daniel barely slept that night. Every small sound made him glance toward the living room, half afraid the girl would vanish like a dream. But Lily was still there when morning light crept through the curtains, sitting upright on the couch, carefully folding the blanket he'd given her. "Good morning, sir," she said politely, as if she were a guest in a fine home instead of a stranger taken in out of the rain. Daniel made pancakes while Lucas chattered happily, asking Lily about her favorite cartoons and whether she liked dogs. She answered gently, but Daniel noticed how carefully she chose her words, never mentioning parents, never explaining where she'd come from. After breakfast, Lily reached into her paper bag and pulled out a small, worn necklace with a delicate emblem. She hesitated, then tucked it back quickly, as if afraid it had been seen. Daniel didn't ask, but something about it felt important. Later that morning, a black SUV slowed outside the apartment building. Daniel noticed it only because it didn't belong in their quiet neighborhood. 2 men stepped out, scanning the area with tense urgency. One spoke urgently into a phone. Inside, Lily suddenly went pale. "They're close," she whispered, gripping the couch cushion. "Who is?" Daniel asked, kneeling beside her. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," she said, her voice trembling for the first time. "I just wanted one night where no one was chasing me." Before Daniel could respond, there was a knock at the door, firm, controlled, and unmistakably official. Lucas clutched Daniel's leg. Lily stood frozen, fear written across her face. Daniel took a deep breath and opened the door. Standing there were 2 men in dark suits, and behind them, an older gentleman whose presence filled the hallway without a word. His eyes locked onto Lily instantly, and in that moment Daniel felt it. This wasn't about a lost child. This was about something far bigger. And somehow, his small act of kindness had placed his. The older man stepped forward slowly, his sharp suit soaked slightly by the rain, yet his posture remained unshaken. His eyes never left Lily. In them was not anger, but fear, relief, and something painfully close to regret. "Lillian," he said softly. At the sound of her full name, Lily's shoulders trembled. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She simply whispered, "I told you I didn't want to go back." Daniel instinctively placed himself between the man and the girl. "She's scared," he said firmly. "And she's under my roof." The man nodded, surprising him. "You did the right thing," he replied. "My name is Arthur Hale." Daniel froze. He knew the name. Everyone did. Arthur Hale was one of the most powerful billionaires in the country, quiet, private, and rarely seen in public. "She's my granddaughter," Arthur continued. "My hidden granddaughter." The room went silent. Arthur explained how Lily's mother, his estranged daughter, had died months earlier. To protect Lily from ruthless media attention and internal family threats, she had been placed under discreet care. But Lily had overheard plans to send her overseas, far away from everything familiar. So she ran. "I didn't want bodyguards," Lily said quietly. "I wanted someone to see me, not my last name." Arthur looked at Daniel, his voice heavy. "She trusted you. That alone tells me who you are." Lucas stepped forward and took Lily's hand. "You can still be my friend," he said simply. Lily smiled through tears. Arthur turned back to Daniel. "I can give her everything money can buy," he said. "But last night, you gave her what I couldn't: safety, dignity, and kindness." For the first time, Daniel understood. This wasn't about wealth or power. It was about a frightened child who found humanity in the least expected place, and a single father whose open door had changed more than one life forever. Arthur asked for a few minutes alone with Daniel on the balcony. The rain had slowed to a quiet drizzle, the city humming softly below them. For a moment either spoke. "I've spent my life building empires," Arthur finally said. "And yet I couldn't protect my own child. Or my granddaughter." Daniel listened, arms folded against the cold. "She doesn't trust people in suits," Arthur continued. "She trusts warmth. She trusts effort. Last night, she chose your home over every guarded mansion I own." Daniel glanced inside through the glass door. Lily sat beside Lucas, helping him color, her laughter small but real. "I can't keep her," Daniel said quietly. "But I won't hand her over if she's afraid." Arthur nodded. "Then help me earn her trust back." Inside, Lily watched them anxiously. When Arthur returned, he knelt in front of her, ignoring the expensive fabric of his suit against the floor. "I failed your mother," he said honestly. "And I failed you by trying to protect you with walls instead of love. If you don't want to come with me today, you don't have to." Lily's eyes widened. "Really?" Arthur nodded. "I want to do this right. Even if it takes time." Lily looked at Daniel. "Can I come back and visit?" Daniel swallowed the lump in his throat. "Anytime," he said. She hugged him suddenly, tight and fierce. "You saved me," she whispered. Arthur watched, visibly shaken. "You didn't just help a child," he said to Daniel later. "You reminded an old man what family actually means." As the SUV waited outside, Lily turned back one last time. "You showed me that kindness still exists," she said. "I won't forget that." Daniel waved as the car disappeared down the street, unaware that this goodbye was not an ending, but the beginning of a future shaped by one quiet, selfless choice. Weeks passed, and life slowly returned to its familiar rhythm for Daniel and Lucas. The apartment was still small, the bills still tight, but something had changed. Lucas smiled more. Daniel felt lighter, as if doing one good thing had quietly reminded him who he was beneath the exhaustion. Then one afternoon, a letter arrived, thick, elegant, and handwritten. Arthur Hale thanked Daniel for giving Lily what no security team ever could: dignity without conditions. He wrote about how Lily had begun laughing again, sleeping through the night, and insisting that her grandfather eat dinner with her instead of working late. "She calls you her safe place," the letter read. A week later, another surprise followed. Daniel was invited to Arthur Hale's foundation office. Nervous and unsure, he went, only to learn that Arthur had quietly funded Lucas's education and offered Daniel a stable position helping oversee community housing projects for struggling families. "I don't reward kindness," Arthur said gently. "I invest in it." But the greatest gift came on a simple Sunday afternoon, when Lily knocked on Daniel's door with a bright smile and a backpack on her shoulders. "Grandpa says family should be chosen," she said. "So I'm here for dinner." As they sat around the table, laughing, sharing stories, passing plates, Daniel realized something profound. Kindness doesn't need wealth. Compassion doesn't need permission. And humanity doesn't ask who you are, it asks who you choose to be. That rainy night at a bus stop hadn't just changed Lily's life. It had rebuilt a broken family. It had restored a child's faith. And it had proven that even the smallest act of kindness can echo into a future brighter than anyone could imagine. Because sometimes, the greatest riches are found not in mansions, but in an open door and an open heart.